Hi, I'm Steph Shep. Welcome back to Clean Academy, where we are diving into all things sustainability. In episode 3, we talked about packaging. Now we'll be going on to the next stage in the product life cycle, disposal and recycling. Do they go into the compost bin, the recycling bin, the trash can? Recycling can be complex and confusing, so we are diving into the misconceptions and providing tips so the next time you're wondering if something is recyclable or trash, you'll do so with confidence. So I'd like to introduce everyone to my good friend, Jamie Nack. She has been an incredible resource to me in my sustainability journey. Jamie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to join you, Steph.
I would love for you to tell everybody a little bit more about 3 Squares and why it's important for consumers to understand recycling.
So I run an environmental consulting firm, 3 Squares Inc., and we work with corporations, government agencies, and large-scale events like the Olympics. And we design and implement sustainability strategies. And one of the most tangible pieces of every strategy is the waste minimization and diversion plan, and that equals recycling.
Recycling seems like it should be easy, but I mean, let's face it, it's pretty complex and there's so much confusion about what happens after you use a product. Jamie, could you help to break this down a little bit for us?
Sure, and it seems confusing at first, but it's actually quite simple. And I think the easiest way to think about it is, what are you holding, right? Is it paper or cardboard? Those are easily recyclable items. Is it glass or aluminum, like an aluminum can? Also 2 very easily recyclable items. Where it gets a little more tricky is when we get into plastics. And that's why there are those numbers on the bottom or the side of each plastic item to try to help you sort out what goes where. And I always like to add composting in the mix, because when we think of recycling or making something into another product, composting, taking natural materials and making it into a new product, this rich topsoil, is also a great way to do your part.
What do most people get wrong about recycling?
I think there are a lot of buzzwords, and I think in some cases you'll see an item and it's marked biodegradable, for example. So everything is biodegradable. You're biodegradable, I'm biodegradable, everything in my office is biodegradable. It just takes a matter of time, right? What it means is that you would degrade in a landfill and over a certain number of years. For example, a diaper would take 500 years to biodegrade and in a landfill, and that's not what we want. We really want either recyclable items that are made from materials that can be broken down and processed into a new item, or we want compostable items that can break down into their natural components and then they can replenish the earth as topsoil.
How long does that stuff take to break down and to compost?
So in order to earn the certification to be certified as a compostable product, you have to guarantee that that item will break down 90% in 90 days. So that's the 90 and 90 rule. If it doesn't break down, you can't earn that certification and it can't end up in a commercial compost. One resource to check out, earth911.com. It's a great site and it allows you, if you have some strange item and you can't figure out where to recycle it or where to compost it, Earth911, you enter your zip code and you're able to figure out and find the local recycler.
So plastics have a pretty bad rep in the beauty industry, and I've heard that only 18% of plastics gets recycled.
Yeah, I mean, I would say plastics across every industry, somewhere between 10 and 18% gets recycled. So part of it is just lack of recycling infrastructure in certain markets. Not every city has a comprehensive recycling program, right? And so I think that's part of it. The other part of it is we're seeing a lot of mixed material packaging. So you'll get a product and it's wrapped in packaging that's a combination of cardboard, plastic, and metal. And that's a conundrum. You know, recycling facilities don't have the time to peel apart all of these different pieces. The idea is to really buy and support companies that use products that are packaged in a way that makes them easily recyclable.
So when it comes to beauty products, what should we keep in mind to make sure we're disposing or recycling properly? And do we need to rinse out our products?
So I would look at what the packaging is, right? So if you have a beauty product that's in glass packaging, a lot of times, like I said, glass is a great item that you can keep and you can rinse it out and reuse it and store something else in it. You can also choose to recycle that glass. If you rinse it out, it makes it easier for the recycling facilities. Do you have to? No. I mean, the facilities are so advanced and sophisticated these days that they're used to getting recyclables that have product or residue still inside, and that's okay. I do think it's also helpful to look at how the product arrives to you. A lot of times you'll receive a product in a cardboard box, for example. So that cardboard box can be recycled.
When you have mixed materials in your beauty products, like we've got the pump, you've got, the cap, the label, all of those things, what part does that play in being able to recycle your beauty products?
If you have a beauty product that has a pump and a plastic container or a glass container or even a metal container, you can remove the pump, put that aside, and then recycle the bulk of it, the container itself. A lot of times what I like to do is reuse that pump. In a lot of cases, if you have something that is a glass container with a pump, that can easily become your hand soap dish or something else as well.
Okay, so I'm feeling like a recycling pro right now, but now I'm gonna throw a new concept at you, the circular economy. So I wanna introduce everyone to Tom Szaky, the CEO and founder of TerraCycle, one of the leading industry innovators for waste. Tom, I'm so happy you're here today. I think what TerraCycle is doing is so cool, so innovative, so necessary. I would love for you to tell everyone a little bit more about yourself, your story, TerraCycle, and how you became passionate about waste management.
So for me, I've always loved the idea of entrepreneurship because I think business is an incredibly powerful tool for change. But I wanted to try to create a company, this was in the beginning of my sort of college experience, that put purpose first and then tried to accomplish that purpose at a profit. And I just fell in love with the idea of garbage because it's such a unique anomaly. Everything in the world, everything we own, with no exception, will one day be property of a garbage company. I mean, no other industry can say that. And for how large of a topic it is, literally everything will be owned by this industry, it is one of the least inspired industries. It's not something people gravitate to or want to be involved with. And because of that, the level of innovation is relatively low. So it was a great topic to jump into. And that's been about 20 years ago. And since then, TerraCycle has grown to a company operating nationally in 20 countries with a mission to eliminate the idea of waste by recycling things that are not recyclable, integrating unique recycled materials back into products, and even coming up with a global reuse platform, all things trying to really innovate around this concept that's been a little bit forgotten and out of sight, out of mind, if you will.
So what exactly does TerraCycle do?
So TerraCycle is a mission-driven waste management company, again, operating in 20 countries around the world. And what we do is we try to make things that are not recyclable. So we run national recycling programs from everything from cosmetic waste to dirty diapers, cigarette butts, to oral care waste, all sorts of things that otherwise would end up in our landfills or incinerate. We also try to integrate waste like ocean plastic and rock and roll festival waste back into packages to try to make them more circular. And then the most latest innovation under a platform we call Loop is all about making your everyday products entirely reusable while making it feel like you have a disposable experience.
So Tom, can you please explain to us, what is the circular economy? Give us the 101.
So today we live in primarily a linear economy. In other words, we make products, we use them typically for an incredibly short life, and then we dispose them where they have no other output than ending up in our landfills or incinerators or even littered in our ocean. And that would be linear, a take, make, waste. Circular economy is trying to bend that line into a circle where instead of the resulting material becoming waste, it could be recycled or reused or somehow go back into the system, effectively creating a virtuous circle, reducing our need to constantly mine and farm for new materials.
Okay, so what are some easy ways we can start to incorporate circularity into our everyday lives?
It's funny how you ask the question because it is in fact what used to be the case. We used to, as society, live incredibly circularly. We used to mend our clothes, cobble our shoes, buy things in reusable packaging. And this left us right about the 1950s when single-use products and packages really became incredibly popular because they were affordable and convenient. And so for us to think about moving to a circular economy, we also have to honor that it's a little bit about thinking about how we used to live in the past. And that is by primarily purchasing products that are circular, that are recyclable, made from recycled content, even better reusable, and even better than that, ideally used and having gone around many times before.
As consumers, what do you think that we can do to help contribute to getting back to a circular economy?
As individuals, I think we many times feel powerless, and we look at the large companies that produce our products, sell us our products, even the governments in which all this takes place, and we may feel like there's nothing we can do. And the irony is that we're actually the most powerful actor in the entire equation because producers, brands, and retailers are in the business of figuring out what is it that we want and giving us what we want in the most affordable, convenient, and exciting way possible. What we buy is an active vote for the future we want. A way to think about that is, next time you go shopping, whatever you buy, 2 more will appear the next day, signifying, the trend and also replacing the one you purchased. And 1 less will appear of anything you didn't buy, signifying the trend. And so we really can create a new future with how we vote with the money we spend. And we should vote for things that are regenerative, circular, and try to avoid things that are not. And remember, the best vote you can pass is the vote for not buying anything at all.
We are going to ask our guests a couple rapid fire questions, 10 words or less, first thing that comes to your mind. So let's get right into it. We're gonna start with Jamie. Ready? Recyclable.
Made out of a material that can be broken down and processed into a new item.
Compostable.
Made from all natural organic matter that will break down into compost, which is rich topsoil.
Reusable or upcyclable.
Something that can be creatively repurposed into a new item.
I love it. Wow, you're really good at this game, Jamie. Okay, Tom, no pressure. Jamie just killed it, so let's see if we can get this in 10 words or less. What is a circular economy?
An economy where all the materials move around in a regenerative way, where you don't have to put more inputs into it.
Thank you guys so much for being here with me today. I have learned so much from both of you.
Thanks, Steph.
Thanks for having me.
So there is so much more to learn about clean beauty and sustainability, so click next to keep watching with me and leave us a comment or question below.